Real Talk with Chris Rubaie and Julian Chavez. We are so happy to have you guys on today. Listening in, we are on camera right now. We are being recorded. All of this will be on our YouTube channel, so upload in about a day. We want you guys to watch it, give us some feedback. Julian, what do you got to say about all this?
This is our first time recording on camera. I'm really excited to get this out, get you guys a lot of new content on Instagram so you could actually see us talking here in our office that we've set up in Brickell. I think we're going to reach out to a lot more people like this.
I think so too, man. I'm super excited about the content we got. We got our gear going. We're all mic'd up and everything, so we're trying to give you guys the best quality of listening.
We're getting to the 22nd century with all this gear here.
All this gear, exactly. Well, first thing I want to talk about today is just kind of like a little motivational thing. I was in the gym this morning. It's always good to go to the gym in the morning. I mean,
definitely. Sometimes
I go in the morning, sometimes I go at night, just depending on what my schedule allows me to do. But when I'm in the morning, it's just good. You get out, you're done. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. So I'm in there and I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Everyone here on this earth has got a purpose, People always say, how are you successful at this, or how can you reach this? I think it's really about just being happy and then capitalizing on what you're happy about the most. And, finding a good balance between your happiness and your goals and your achievements, finding that niche where you really strive and prosper and you want to continue growing in that space. And by all means, keep going after it, and I think it's probably the best thing for you to keep doing that. So that's just kind of my little motivational piece. Find what makes you happy and capitalize on it. So
that is some really good motivation. I mean, I want to put that to work in my own life.
Yeah.
For example, selling real estate. I love selling real estate, and now I'm working really hard. It's easier to do something that you love to do. I mean, if you go to a job that you hate to do, you're not going to be motivated, right?
Exactly. If you call it work, it's probably not work. You know what I'm saying? It really needs to come down to what makes you happy during the day, those tasks, those hobbies, and then just capitalizing on them so it doesn't have to feel like you're working. You know?
Why not? Life's too short to do something you don't really like.
Exactly. Speaking of you don't really like, the biggest breakup of Valentine's Day. Biggest breakup, Amazon in New York City.
Can you tell us why?
So I hear it was because New York was, I'm not going to say the G word. All right, I'm going to say the G word. They got a little greedy. They said, all right, what are you going to do for us, Amazon? Amazon flipped the middle finger and said, peace out. Have a good one.
Yeah, well, Amazon was creating a lot of jobs for them.
25,000 to be exact. I mean, if you think about that, that's cities, That's a whole city.
Yeah, and that's a lot of revenue for the state of New York and the city that they're going to reside in.
Yeah, that's more.
People got to pay taxes on their income.
Yeah, and it's already like, look in New York. They already got enough, taxes and everything that's going through them. Great population. I think specifically they were mentioning stuff about the traffic situation in New York, which is interesting.
If I was New York, I would have done anything in my power to make Amazon stay. I mean, with all the jobs that they were creating and all the extra revenue and income they were adding for the state of New York.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean...
and to say that you're home to the HQ for Amazon, the biggest company in the world.
Well, right. So there was going to be one in Virginia and then one in New York, right? So they were going to split it. They said... None of these United States cities can handle 50,000 jobs at once. Let's break up the headquarters into 2 headquarters and divide and conquer. But I don't know. I think the next state is going to be Texas. We talked a little bit last time about Texas,
we did
man.
Talk about Texas. They have a lot of room over there.
Yeah, and I believe there's no income tax over there. It's kind of like Florida, the tax climate over there. I mean, it's a huge state too. Got plenty of space.
They got a lot of space. But I mean, I don't know. Think about Amazon. Like, just think about how their company's built up. Like, New York would have really fit what I think they would be looking for.
Yeah. But, they also thought about Miami, too.
Yeah, Miami would have been a cool place. A lot of jobs. I mean, I would have loved for them to come down to Miami. I wonder why they didn't.
Traffic, I heard.
Traffic?
Yeah.
Yeah, we rank, I think, 12th worst in traffic.
Worst traffic. That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know how to get around here, and I get around pretty Well, I mean, yeah, once in a while I need to go through that rush hour traffic at 5 o'clock. It'll take me an hour to get home, but...
Yeah, that's me all the time, so...
I mean, yeah, but you figure out how to drive around that, come on.
Yeah, the Miami drivers, they just kind of skip around that. Yeah.
Make the hours 11 to 7 or something.
Yeah.
9 to 5.
Exactly. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they can do it. They want to be like a cool company like the Google headquarters, I'm assuming.
What's the worst? I mean, you've traveled around a lot. What do you think is like the worst city with traffic that you would say?
The worst city?
Yeah.
In actually driving traffic, New York for sure.
Okay.
But the thing is that they have the subway, which makes it so easy to get around everywhere. I mean, I was using the subway on my Google Maps and it was telling me where to get on, where to get off, how long it would take me, like what train to take and everything, what train and what line to take. So they had a really good public transportation system over there.
Yeah. They don't have that over here. I've been lost on the Brooklyn Mover I don't know how many times. I got to just start looking around at buildings.
Remember where you are.
Yeah, I think the worst city that I've been to for traffic, and it's probably because I've driven through it a lot, is Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go through there at noon, you're not moving. It's at gridlock. Noon? Yeah, at noon.
Oh. Okay, so then it's kind of like New York, like there's permanent traffic everywhere.
Right, but like New York is New York, so all of it's city basically. You know what I'm saying? True. So unless you're out in the suburbs, I'm sure it gets a little bit.
Yeah, there's less traffic out there, obviously, like any other suburb. But the thing is, they have a really good alternative. I'm not sure. Does Atlanta have something like that? Any type of public transportation system?
I don't think so, man. I think that's maybe why it's kind of hard to scoot around there. But I mean. They have a busy airport there too at Atlanta, and that's like a main hub for some of these airlines. And I think it's just the amount of population, and I don't think it's like per square mile like New York is, but I think it's just everyone's at the same place at the same time.
Right. I mean, going back to New York, I mean, I still think that the state of New York lost not getting Amazon there. I mean, another factor that goes into that is their taxes that their citizens are paying too much in taxes. A huge new client base here in Florida is going to be the people coming down from New York because the taxes are just too much over here. We don't have that income tax here.
Right. No, yeah, it's interesting, and I'm seeing
you save a lot of money coming down here. That's going to be like a new foreign investment that we have in Miami. I mean, they're thinking about coming down to Florida because all of Florida doesn't have the tax, has a slight tax break, but I mean, I'm thinking Miami. What's the closest thing in Florida to New York? It's Miami, obviously. You look outside right here. We got tower room buildings with as nice views as New York. I don't care what anybody says.
Right. Yeah, I like how you phrased that. We're seeing a huge deficit in international buyers coming in and investing. And what you said really does cap it off, and that is, New York is the new international investor. So I think it's cool to realize those trends and kind of watch where they go. And, we talked about last podcast about, I think New York missed out on like over $3 billion in expenditure or something from.
Well, yeah, I mean they're taxing their citizens too much, especially the highest tax bracket, and they're gonna be losing a lot of people that are gonna come down to Florida and get the tax break, and they're just gonna make Florida's economy stronger.
Right.
And they're I mean, not to say that it's gonna happen quickly, but it'll happen eventually. People aren't gonna want to give away their money anymore.
Right.
When they could go to an alternative place, which Miami is just as nice as New York, and save a lot of money and still be able to keep their businesses going with computers and stuff. You could run a business off your laptop now.
Exactly.
You don't actually have to. Not everybody has to still go into the office and actually be physically present in New York, especially the bosses.
Yeah, it's getting interesting, especially with technology. People don't even have to show up to meetings in person anymore. You can just do that over the phone.
And it's not like they're moving to some small city in Alabama. They're moving to Miami. I mean, look outside. We see the Miami River right here. We see the huge buildings, amazing views.
Right.
I don't know if it gets better. And then on top of that, in the wintertime, it doesn't get to 20 degrees when it's snowing.
Yeah.
It's 60 degrees maybe like 3 days out of the year.
Or even worse, it's sunny one day and it's snowing the next. Little shout out to my hometown people. It just happened to them. It was 60 degrees out, and then yesterday it snowed. Just
so everybody knows, Chris is from St. Louis.
I am from St. Louis, Missouri. Mighty proud, go Cards, go Blues. Those are my teams right there. But I had to come down here. It's just so beautiful. I couldn't pass it up. Yeah, that weather up there is too volatile. I can't handle it. It's hard.
Yeah, it's wild over there.
It's hard to wear outfits over there, you know? Sometimes you gotta wear pants, sometimes you gotta wear shorts.
You gotta wear like 3 different pairs of clothes.
Yeah, exactly. So your closet's all messed up. It's a big mess. I can't
wake up, it's like 30 degrees, but then in the afternoon it's gonna be 80 degrees.
Exactly. That's how it works over there. Yeah, exactly. So couldn't do it. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm down here.
I mean, so should we move on now I want to explain to people how you could get started with investing?
Yeah.
Go start talking about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about the changes that are going on in Miami.
Okay. Well, this is going out to people, younger people that have good paying jobs, but they just don't have $200,000 to start investing. People think that you have to invest with a whole lot of money down. You really don't have to invest with a whole lot of money down. I mean, this goes out to people making $40,000 to $80,000 a year. You can start investing in real estate at a young age and start getting cash flow in and start getting appreciation after all the years. Maybe buy 1 property a year, 2 properties a year, or 1 every other year, or whatever, and it starts adding up. I mean, I want to give you an example with actually facts and numbers here so you can understand it. I'm going to start talking about, a condo you could probably find in the Kendall area, a 2-2 probably, somewhere around $160,000. Okay, so you want to put down 25% down so you don't have to pay any type of private mortgage insurance. That's what I'd recommend. You don't have to. There's other programs to come in with 10 or sometimes even less if the condo is approved. But $160,000 condo, 2-2, somewhere in Kendall, Florida, I believe that is a $40,000 down payment. Okay, so you come in with $40,000. There's a few extra costs because of closing costs, somewhere around $45,000 you want to calculate. Okay, and then your monthly payment on a 30-year mortgage for that would be $1,144 a month. Okay, that includes the association of $300 a month and property taxes of $2,400 a year, give or take. All those numbers fluctuate, but you're looking around $300 a month for HOA, $2,400, $2,500, and property taxes, depending exactly where the property is located.
And insurance? How much do you think for insurance?
Well, you want to include the insurance inside the monthly association payment.
Okay,
if you want to get extra insurance, you could, and it'll be something cheap, something around $50 a month. But investment purposes, you don't really need insurance because it's covered with the association.
Right.
Okay. A 2-2 in Kendall. We could probably rent that for $1,550 a month. Me and Chris can rent it for that. I don't know about other realtors.
Yeah, we can do that.
So you'd be looking at a $406 profit every month.
Every month. Times that by 12.
That's times 12. That's $4,872 a year. And then if we divide that by the down payment amount, that's a 12%.
12% cap rate.
12% cap rate.
That's a strong cap rate, guys.
I mean, look at your bank. Whatever money you have in the bank, I promise you're not getting more than 1% on that. I mean, we can make that 11 by buying a property that's going to appreciate over years. And that, by the way, was calculated at a 5% interest rate, which if you have good credit, you might right now be able to get like a 4.75.
Yeah. And, I think 12% is very strong. What else was I going to say?
And that's a good deal. Like, me and Chris could help you negotiate the price, get that a little bit lower for you.
Right. So, you also have the capital appreciation on the back end that could possibly happen as well. This market is doing really well. The stock market just went up a lot yesterday.
Up 400 points. Plus.
Yeah. So it's everything's going pretty good right now, I'd say. So who knows? Maybe it'll keep going up and then, pop it for more than what you bought it for. And then
it'll keep appreciating no matter what.
Exactly. When we talk about the 12%, it's really just based off of what you're getting from income, right? So you have profit equals income plus capital appreciation. Right now you're focusing on the less riskier side, which is the income approach. If you wanted to focus more on the capital appreciation approach, you're going in there and you're going to go and put some money at it or do something, fix it up, and then flip it, which is more risky and more towards capital appreciation. But we're talking about stuff that everyone does. Everyone does it. This building does it. This building does it. This building does it. All of them do it, and it's a good way to make money. So
it's a good, safe way to do it. I mean, we're talking about in Miami, Florida. If your property is not rented, it's because you don't have it priced correctly.
Right.
Not because there's not enough people to fill it up. In Miami, we always have enough people to fill up all the apartments. So that's a great way to get started in buying real estate. I mean, $40,000 $40,000 to $45,000, get yourself a nice 2-2 condo that you always have rented out.
Right.
I mean, it's not really a risky move because Miami's always gonna have a strong rental market. Even if something crazy happens, the economy happens to crash, people still need to live somewhere, and they're gonna end up renting when they default on their current mortgages.
Right.
So someone's gonna end up filling your place, and on top of that, over a lot of years, it'll end up appreciating. You'll be able to raise your rents. And I know a landlord that raises his rents $50 every year.
Yeah.
And I do it for him.
Yeah. You're talking about filling up these places. What kind of locations do we see that kind of fill up the quickest,
I mean, the quickest, it depends.
We were talking about that article today.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about the crossings.
The crossings, yeah. Okay.
Well, I was reading this article today that was really interesting to me. The best place to buy a house, according to GoBankingRates.com, which gets all their information from Zillow and MLS, says that the crossings, a small city in Miami, Florida, which is close to Kendall. Basically, Kendall, if you've heard about Kendall, just think about Kendall. It's a smaller city, and there occupies 22,000 people. And the reason that it's ranked that high is based on the quality of the area, based on the income of the people that are there, and based on the income to the amount that they can afford ratio and what they're actually getting.
Price to income.
So some people maybe here in Brickell think that they work really hard and they can only afford a 1-bedroom condo.
Right. Yeah, it's all about the price to income ratio. I was sitting in class the other day, and one of my professors who does a lot of analytics of the city, Miami has a very high price to income ratio, meaning most people spend more on their home than what they actually make. You get what I'm saying? Right. So like in here in this area, it's probably I think the median is income is around $100,000. Okay. Right. So it changes all over the place, but you also have to. So let's say that median is $100,000, right? But the housing is a lot more expensive over here, so it kind of messes up the ratio a little bit, and that's what they're really gathering from.
Talking about the crossings, Florida.
Yes, talking about the crossings is that price to income ratio. So
right, and that's a big deal. That's a great place. I would recommend someone to start investing. It's a smart, easy, safe investment. If you want to do something more risky, you can start flipping houses. You can use hard money loans, but you could go upside down and lose a lot of money. But there's higher risk and higher reward in everything.
Exactly.
I mean, the stock market, the real estate market, everything. No market is easy. But if you want to make a good, solid investment that will be good, 12% return, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Whatever money you have in the bank, if you have $40,000 in the bank, $45,000, it's not making you more than 1%, maybe 2%.
If you were to put money into the S&P 500 right now, they say on average, over the next decade, you will make 10% on your return, right? Okay. That's just blindly just throwing it in S&P 500.
But anything could happen there.
I'm sorry?
Anything could happen when you...
Well, yeah. So anything can happen, and people pick their stocks on different risk levels and what they're about to do and stuff. But just as a I guess kind of like a standard, as a benchmark, throw your money in S&P 500. It's going to return probably 8 to 10% over 10 years, right? Over 10 years. So it might be up 1 year, it might be down 1 year. So it all kind of depends on what your strategy and what you're looking for.
Right, and also going back to investing in what we had given you an example of as a 2-2 in Kendall, your cap rate actually gets higher as you go on because you raise the rents as it goes on. In 3 years, you can rent that place that we had for $1,550 or $1,500 for $1,650. So we're not looking at 12% cap anymore. We're looking at 13, 14, and as the years goes on, it goes higher, it goes increasing. And also, I mean, what's great about buying real estate is you could also use it kind of like a bank. Like after a bunch of years, if you paid off a lot of it and for some reason you have some type of family emergency, you could cash out money from it to refinance, get a credit line out of it. It's good for emergencies also to own real estate, so you can take money out of it.
Tax advantages.
Definitely, you write off the interest on there.
Right.
You make it a business.
Yeah, it really is. I agree, and I think we talked a little bit about Kendall last time, and I think it's a good place to start out. But
definitely, that's what I recommend.
Yeah, that's where I started. I was over there, but couldn't do the traffic, man. That's all it was.
Yeah, but if you live in Kendall, you live in Kendall. You live in Kendall, you go to the Kendall Publix. you go to the Kendall Malls, Dayline.
It's the burbs, man. It's the suburbs over there.
Yeah, but you want the views, I understand.
Yeah. But speaking of the views, man, I can't get
so
this
what are you
out.
upset about now?
I'm so upset, man. I'm triggered. No, the Miami Tower, a lot of you might know, it's the big tower with the beautiful lights. I mean, it's the only one in Miami that stays, like, actually lit. Like, all of it is lit. Like, there's not one line on it that is out, ever. And this past week, they have officially taken down the Total Bank sign. And usually I really wouldn't care about the changes that are going on with that, but the Total Bank logo is so sick. It used to look so beautiful up there on top of that building. Thank God I was able to see it in its heyday, its beautiful glory. It's had that Total Bank sign on there since the 70s.
We're definitely going to miss that here. That was kind of not really like a landmark, but you just knew if you're looking outside your brick old apartment, you're going to see the Total Bank sign.
Yeah, man. Total Bank was just...
So who bought them out?
So City National Bank, they did the merger. So Total Bank used to be owned by a international bank in Miami, Bank Salvador, and they got bought out by City National Bank in June or July of 2017. So the merger's kind of been in its process, and they finally reached this location, which surprises me because this has got to be one of their biggest real estate assets across the nation, that they might have. It's 142,000 square feet that they're renting out from Miami Tower. Okay. So it's a big building. It doesn't look that big from here, but
when you're paying the mortgage on that, it's pretty big.
Yeah, that's got to be over 50 stories, you think, right?
Yeah, probably, definitely.
Yeah.
We're looking at it right here. You can't tell.
We're looking at it. It's beautiful.
For the people listening on the podcast rather than watching the video.
It's got the Miami lights on it, so it's got the heat colors, does all this stuff.
Do you know what building's also pretty sick? The Intercontinental?
Yeah.
Downtown.
The Dancing Lady.
Oh, the Dancing Lady, yeah. That's what everybody knows. I mean, if they get rid of that, I think I'm moving from Miami.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a hotel, right?
That's a hotel, yeah. It's not, you can't.
There's a nice cluster of hotels over there. One Miami.
Yeah, definitely. It's a nice hotel.
Yeah, they have a nice article about the owner of that, who also owns the W hotels. They control.
Oh, the owner of SPG.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, these guys, they control, $64 billion in real estate assets.
That was a pretty sick interview they had with A-Rod. Not sure why A-Rod's trying to get involved in business now. I mean, man, come on, you played third base for the Yankees. What do you know about business? You know how to ground a. You know how to get a ground ball. Throw out the guy at first.
We'll see. I think he's he's a good guy, man. He's got a nice wife, so
he's
grinding it out.
He's trying to make a splash for himself, man.
Yeah, I think he's grinding it out.
I mean, I understand we're trying to make a splash ourselves.
Yeah, I saw him on Shark Tank the other day, which I watched.
Come on, Shark Tank.
I watch religiously. All right, my TV does not see any other channel besides CNBC. It just stays on there. I don't even know where the remotes are. All I know is how to turn it on, and that's it.
But how is he getting himself in the business world? Like, what background does he have? I know he's starting like the gyms now, which is cool. He's starting off being a businessman. Why are people?
I think that's what it is. I mean, like, he's just starting out, and
I think people
he's
just like
read a few contracts,
because he's famous with MLB, which I understand. He's using that as an advantage. But come on, everyone else that's on Shark Tank grinded to get where they are. They're not just starting off in their small businesses and on there. Like Mark Cuban owns a professional basketball team. Professional basketball team. Right. And much other assets as well. Yeah. Everyone else. The real estate investor, the guy that owns a clothing brand.
Right. Yeah, man. It's kind of, it's interesting, all sorts of surprises. Yeah. We'll see from all these people. But one big surprise that I saw this past week, man, they found a tiger in, what was it, Houston, Texas?
Was it a Houston house?
It was an abandoned house with a tiger in it. What would you do if you just, what would you do if you walked into a house, you're like, okay, we're in Kendall. This is a 3-2.
I'm showing it's an investor.
1,700 square feet. It's bank-owned property. Let's go check it out. Open the door. Tiger in a cage.
This is an asset.
Does it come with the house?
I'll be trying to sell the tiger first. All right, so you want the house? It's 170. If you want it with the tiger, we're looking at 200.
Okay, cut it flat. That's even.
It's a trained tiger. He knows to stay inside.
It's got to be gone by the end of the day. Okay.
No, but why were they leaving the tiger there, man? That's not nice.
Yeah, I heard it was overweight too. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I guess it wasn't malnourished or anything.
Yeah, I guess so, but it probably didn't get enough exercise. It couldn't run
Probably
around.
didn't, yeah. That's probably what it was.
I don't even know if tigers need to run around. I'm not 100% sure. Did I tell you about that article I saw the other day that someone, it's kind of similar, they were checking out a real estate owned property, a bank owned property, and they walked in and they realized that there was a booby trap set up on the stairs.
Bro.
And the way they realized it was that they saw like a wire hanging down the stairs, and they were like, what is that? Like, what does that lead to? And they hit it from far away, and a huge thing came down with a huge knife coming out, basically like 5'8", like the average male height that would have chopped through my neck.
Oh, yeah, man. Not for me. Walking into some of these properties is already scary enough.
That's interesting. Like, I mean, what did the guy think? The guy that lost the property, like he thought that the owner of the bank was going to walk in there and check out the property? Of course not. It's going to be someone like me or you showing it to an investor.
Exactly. No, yeah. It is kind of crazy if you think about it, What was that guy trying to do? What was his intent,
He's trying to kill the guy that owns the bank that got the house from him that
Yeah,
couldn't pay it off.
that guy's going to walk into your house, man. You know how many guys he foreclosed this past year? Jeez.
He didn't care, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. There was some other news this week about Tommy Hilfiger, which I love the clothing brand, by the way. A lot of people will be like, oh, Tommy's his... Dude, I think they're sweet. They're classic. They got the good colors.
It's cool. I like Ralph Lauren.
I feel like a lot of people are on... I was on Polo for a little bit, but then when, Tommy's just kind of classic. By the beach, put on a nice little classic collared shirt, go around the town. But anyways, since we're talking about that, Tommy Hilfiger, they bought a hotel on Miami Beach a couple of years back. They just sold it this past week for $103 million.
Wow. What was the name of the hotel?
Raleigh on
Miami
Collins.
Beach. Okay, Collins.
And
very nice.
I think they bought it for like 67 or 70 million.
Okay.
Now, if you think about that, that's a cap rate, man.
Okay. Well, yeah, but it's a hotel, so...
Right. You got to go in there. You got to freshen up the management, clean up the rooms, get your clientele going.
That's also... I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with those type of investments, but you see higher risk, higher reward.
Exactly. And hotels are the most volatile property type. Apartments being the least.
Yeah, because... if you're looking from an economic standpoint, the economy crashes... People are going to cut down. First thing they're going to cut down on is travel. No one's going to travel anymore. But people, for sure, no matter what, need somewhere to live.
Yep.
That's why, going back to what we spoke about earlier, safest investment is to buy a condo somewhere in Kendall. If you're from Miami and you're watching this, if you're not from Miami, then we could find you somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you always need somewhere to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of looking at this article right now, and they're saying that a lot of these... I guess kind of older couples are heading more urban now. They're urbanizing, and I guess after a certain amount of years, these couples they want to forget about mowing the grass or cleaning up the pool or whatever, and they just come here to these beautiful condominiums instead.
Well, it's so easy to do so. Like right here, right where we are right now. You could go downstairs, you could walk to Publix, you could walk to the movie theater, to do your shopping, Macy's, whatever have you.
Right.
The mall right down the stairs. You don't have to get your car. It's also, could be cheaper, you don't have to pay for a car or anything like that.
Right.
But the rents are higher in these bigger cities.
Yeah.
So it all depends. It's a give and take,
Yeah.
But it's very easy, very safe. As you get older, you're more uncomfortable driving.
Yeah. Until they take it away from you.
Yeah.
Man, could you imagine, when you reach life and they're like, yo, you can't drive anymore.
They'll take away the keys to the G63.
Don't take those.
I don't know about that. Man. I don't think they can handle the gas.
Yeah.
They can't afford to pay for the gas on there.
Man, yeah, if they even have those when we're about to kick on.
Thanks so much for listening to our podcast today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Got plenty of information from it. We're going to continue to give you guys this awesome content every week. If you guys want to hear anything more about Miami real estate, just let us know. We'll be happy to provide that.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. You can DM us throughout the week if you have any specific questions you want us answered.
Exactly.
We can do it for you.
My Instagram is Mr.Caprate at MIA.
I'm Julian Chavez _RE.
There you go.
DM me, I'll answer.
Perfect.
Don't worry.
So we're working through all these new phases. We hope you guys are liking them. Catch you into Real Talk next week with Chris Rubaie and Julian Chavez. Have a good one.